about what it's like to be on an election year. Good morning, all of my friends.
Welcome. Is this my first year? And no. I was going to say my first time
Were
being
you
an
doing
agent.
it in 2020?
I was.
Yeah.
I was pregnant with my first, like it was just hazy.
It was confusing and gross.
First AEP, that's probably all I was focused on.
Honestly, I remember that. So I remember your first AEP because you were pregnant. And I remember it would have been, you were in that training center, right? You were in our training center and somebody introduced you. She's like, oh yeah, she's putting on, maybe it was Rachel. She's like, oh yeah, she's doing some events, getting ready for AEP. And I was like, bless you, looked like you had just like a little volleyball just tucked under a sweater.
I miss that like talking point with clients.
Of being able to like talking about like having.
It was just like an immediate like, oh.
Like, did you get a bunch of people like rubbing your belly? Were you
not
okay with that?
Not a lot. I was fine with it, I guess, but maybe it's because I didn't get it a ton.
I guess that would have been
from like strangers.
Wasn't it 2019? That would have been 2020.
Yeah, that was 2019.
Yeah, your first AEP was 2019. Yeah, I was gonna say because I was here, and I don't think because I found out that I was pregnant in October. No, yes. October. Yes, because I found out I was pregnant because I Oktoberfest a little too hard and the hangover didn't leave. That's how I found out that I was pregnant.
Oh, man.
Welcome to the Medicare Cafe pre-chat. If you guys do have
jumping in just mid-conversation.
If you guys
Kari and Olivia.
I know. Well, that's literally exactly what happened.
That's how I found out I was pregnant. Well, kind of. With Maylee, is I thought I had COVID.
Oh,
and I called my dad, and I was like, I feel like something's wrong. And he was like, Kari, everything you just described to me sounds like you're pregnant.
Is your dad a doctor?
No.
Okay.
He's worked at the hospital. He's a physical therapist. He's worked there for.
So he's like in the medical field.
He's in the medical field. So I call him for everything. And yeah, he was like, I think you should take a pregnancy test. But it took us so long to get pregnant with our first and like had to do like treatment. So I was like, well, I'm not pregnant.
There's no way. That's not even a thought.
Surprise! Would you look at that?
No.
So nursing, everything.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that.
My hormones were like
crazy.
See ya.
That's nuts. No, I remember your first AEP because I think I actually was coming out of doing Medicare Cafe. I met you. I was in the studio.
Had we known.
I know. How funny is that? And I think I had just finished up doing Medicare Cafe with Mike at the time. And I walked out and you were standing in this front doorway because our training center has 2 doorways. You were sitting in the front doorway. And somebody introduced me to you, and you're like, this is her first AEP. She's doing a bunch of seminars. She's our rock star. She's killing it. And she has a volleyball under her shirt. And I was like, that's really cool. But
long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time.
No, I was pregnant during COVID, right?
Okay, that's right.
So I didn't have people touching my belly because nobody was touching anybody. Yeah, so like my baby shower that I did, because I don't like wedding showers.
So when was Kay due?
Kay was due June of 2020.
June of 2020.
Yeah, so we found out we were pregnant in October because, like I said, we Oktoberfest too hard.
So that would have been scary for you.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't very fun. Just knowing, like, nobody knew what this was and, like, yeah, like finding out what COVID was.
And having your baby.
And having a baby. Yeah,
Chad was able to be with you, right?
So he couldn't go to most of my doctor's appointments. He wasn't allowed.
Was there when
he was there.
Born.
Yeah, and if we left our hospital room, we had to wear masks, but we didn't allow, or it's not, well, it wasn't us. They weren't allowed to have visitors at the hospital, and it was awful. Amazing. It was so nice not having visitors at the hospital.
Not even your parents?
No,
our parents were the only ones that came for me.
No, I loved it. I love not having anybody there because, like, it was literally, like, we got to actually, like, figure out parenting with, like, supervision of the nurses. I literally was, like, calling nurses, like, someone change this diaper. I can't. My first diaper I ever changed was Cade's as a newborn.
That's crazy.
And so, like, it was nice. I didn't have to, like, didn't have people coming in. I got to sleep when I wanted to sleep. You know, like, I didn't have to, like, it wasn't, like, you know, it wasn't weird having guests there while I'm, like, in pain, trying to figure out how to do this.
Looking like a train wreck.
So, yeah. So, if another pandemic is going to happen, God forbid, just, that's the best time to have kids.
No more babies for me.
Girl, same. Welcome to...
Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Last night, Cade
Just
Dean.
talking about babies.
Cade Dean, my son Cade. Cade, middle name Dean. So we call him Cade Dean. Touches my face and he goes, "You're such a good mommy." And I was like, "I need 12 more." That's not happening. But welcome to the Medicare Cafe. Today we are talking about an election year. What does the Medicare industry look like on an election year?
How many people already hopped off?
I know how many people are like, I'm not. And here's the thing, and I did make this the first slide. We're not talking about politics here. I don't care if you're left wing, right wing, center wing, no wings, or if you just don't even know what we're talking about. I'm not going to take the energy, time, effort to talk about what we believe in as far as politics go. And we'll talk about it, but I advise you to do the same for your clients, is not get into it. But
yes, not get into it.
The world does look different for lots of different reasons during an election period. You have a lot of people who are just more like, first of all, the media is disgusting. You have on both sides of it, the media just is charging everybody up, getting everybody upset, getting everybody mad, and people are just kind of on edge. We'll talk about this more, but people are on edge for so many different reasons during an election year.
Well, so it's like normal for me. I feel like everybody blames whoever's in office for the drug prices. It's always like the drugs prices.
And gas. Like the gas prices and the drug prices.
So and so's to blame. And that is just like completely amplified.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised at how many people have asked me just point blank, did you vote for Trump? Yeah. Did you vote for Biden? Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
crazy.
I just try not to get into it. Okay. And then they go on the rant. And so I just listen. And that happened a lot.
Is like you saying, "I agree with you."
Yes, I know. I'm just like, keep going, Betty. Keep going,
Betty.
That happened 3 times to me last AEP. Yeah. I vividly remember the 3 people who had to have an outlet and go on their rant, and I have no idea what they think of me, because I just listened. I didn't say anything, but I am. Oh gosh. It's going to be even 10 times worse.
Yeah. It is going to be insane this year for all the different reasons that it's going to be insane. Obviously, looking like, Trump is a front runner for the Republican Party and Biden doing Biden things, it's going to be a weird year, right? So when it comes to looking at Medicare, the first thing I want to talk about during AEP especially, but throughout the entire year, leads are going to be a lot harder to generate on an election year, mainly because it's harder to get attention, right?
I thought about that.
Yeah, so obviously we know, it's just harder to stand out on that. So we know that, especially lead houses, we'll say it like this. So lead houses actually advertise that, when they do, so lead houses we talk about for Medicare, a lot of lead houses will do any general mailing. And they'll do exclusive to those areas. So, a lot of times what you'll see is these campaigns will use the lead houses to send out campaign letters, send out postcards, send out things on behalf of their campaign. But keep in mind, they said that they're exclusive. So even if it's not a Medicare-related lead, if somebody buys up your zip codes that you usually send letters to or you usually do mail drops to, those zip codes won't be available.
They won't be interesting.
Because they are being bought up by these political campaigns.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So that can really affect it.
If you're using, we do know, obviously direct mail has really kind of tanked, and as well as other types of, purely, purchasing lead sources. It's not you're not seeing the results that you used to see, but you can absolutely expect even less. Telephonic leads, we know how many times our phones blow up during election years for different polls, different, again, politicking, campaigning. People just stop answering the phone. So your telephonic leads, you're going to start to see those kind of tank as well.
This is just kind of random, but still on topic. How do you answer the question, or how would you answer the question? I've had multiple clients ask me, and maybe it was back in 2020, well, what do you think is going to happen to Medicare?
We'll talk about that here. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
What do you think is going to happen to my Medicare?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's a slide on here where it's just because Medicare does become such a focal point, right? There's some things that
it's government related.
Exactly. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Okay. But
jumping the gun.
It makes me show that I picked the right topics. Let me just Get myself a little pat on the back. But understanding, when it comes to you trying to stand out, especially like if you're doing something on a national basis, just understanding that it is going to be a lot harder to stand out, and even on a local basis, because not only are your national presidential elections going on, but you're also having elections on a local level too.
Yep.
So it's just, again, just knowing that there's a lot of noise, and it's incredibly difficult to stand out during this time of year. So you do have to be a little different. On top of that, exactly what you're talking about. Medicare is a focal point when it comes to politics. But politicians, and it's kind of twofold, right? Politicians talk about Medicare in two ways. Number one, they talk about it as a scare tactic. Medicare is going away. The baby boomers are taking over. We only have enough funds to go for this long. It's a scare tactic, and because they understand that your top voters are going to be those baby boomers. It's the largest demographic. It's the demographic with the most control over the money in our nation. So that's the demographic they're going to go over. So they've always been after the Medicare because it's a federally run program and it scares people. Expect that even more.
Not just Medicare. So like, through my Social Security designation
right.
I got. So, like, we know for certain in 2033, 2033, Social Security won't be able to pay out 100% of the benefit amount.
Right.
And so I foresee this being a big topic. They're obviously trying to fix it before 2033.
Yeah.
But, like, it's so political. And I get people ask me that all the time ever since I've had this designation. It's like, well, what do you think they're going to do? I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do, but I do know that both sides of the aisle want to fix it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a great answer.
They both want to fix it. They're not, neither of them are going to let them just not pay out 100%. So like, it's just, I foresee both Medicare and Social Security questions coming during this election.
That's and so the question you asked me earlier is like, how do you answer the question of if Biden gets in? How do you answer the question if Trump gets in? Like, what's going to happen to my Medicare if Donald Trump gets in or Joe Biden? The answer that I always come across is like, Medicare is such a huge animal that you're not going to see anything happen overnight. There's going to be a long runway. Thinking about like the ACA. The ACA took the full 8 years, right? I mean, it took a really long time. I said 8 crazy. It took a long time to actually see that go into effect. The same thing's going to happen with, again, the Medicare. It's too much to see any major shifts. Would things change? Would things, depending on who's in office? It absolutely could. We've seen, again, Joe Biden introduce the Inflation Reduction Act, which is greatly affecting Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans. Yep. So it is possible that things, will shift. My number one thing is don't listen to the media. Yeah. Don't listen to what they're saying. Use your professional, use your agent, your Social Security advisor. Use a professional to get your information from. Stay off Facebook. Stay off of the media because that's not going to be a reliable source.
And I think it's important saying it's not going to happen overnight. Like, there are so many changes to prescription drugs that are going to happen in 2025. Right. No matter who gets elected, like, there's no way that would go away. Exactly. Like, there's gonna be a 2000. I don't know if I hope. I don't know if I hope for that because I think there's gonna be other repercussions. But that's a different topic.
Oh yeah, with the $2,000 cap on
drugs.
Gosh, that's a huge topic right now. That's coming next year, and it's coming, right? Like it's a thing. But
can I ask a question about that real fast?
I'm probably not gonna know the answer, but we can talk about it.
Is the $2,000 cap just for drugs on the formulary?
Yes.
Okay, so I foresee all these expensive drugs just aren't going to be on the formulary.
Oh, you're
and
seeing
then you're
that
out
now.
Even more money.
You're seeing that now, where a lot of expensive medications are no longer on the formularies or they're on higher tiers. Because again, these companies are for profit. They are not government entities that are paying.
So therefore, there is not a $2,000 cap.
I mean, there's not a $2,000 cap as long as it's on the formulary. I mean, there is if it's on the formulary.
If it's on the formulary, right.
But if you're not using insurance to pay for it, then it has nothing to do with it.
Because I had somebody specifically ask me about, like, this cancer medication, and he's like, I'm trying to work through 2024 so that I can get to that 2025 cap. And I was like, don't bank on that. Like, yeah, because your drug is so expensive, and it might not be on any plan's formulary next year. But then I was second guessing myself. I was like, well, but wait. Yeah. So I'm thinking of that, right?
It's going to be,
right?
yes, correct.
Okay.
It's going to be incredibly important to have alternatives to insurance next year for that exact reason, like Needy Meds or Clever RX or
Next RX. We still have to have a conversation about Next RX.
Yes, I hear their advertisements all the time, but
I don't hear them.
Yeah.
I get them like daily.
My husband's obsessed with the radio still. Like I stream music, but he's like obsessed with the radio. So when I'm
in with our demographic,
for sure, my husband. If I guarantee, if I went home today at like 1:00, he'd be on the couch napping, watching the Andy Griffith Show. Like awesome. I'm like, let me try out this on my husband because his 40-year-old self is 100% 70 at heart. Anyways, but yeah, so that is like a solution to that will absolutely be finding alternative ways to pay for medication that's not using your insurance.
Interesting.
Yeah, because for all the reasons we just talked about. So
yeah.
But anyways, again, understanding. Why am I so bad at the like which slide switch? Because it's named slide 3.
Yeah,
that's why.
There's no way of like renaming it.
There is, but the return of investment's just not there. But yes.
Expect a lot of the sky is falling questions.
Yeah, because again, politics love scare tactics. And so they love to utilize, like, if you don't vote for us, if you don't vote for my campaign, the other side's going to get rid of Medicare. The other side's going to do this, that, the other. So just, again, encouraging your clients to understand nothing is going to happen overnight. Do not read the media. Stay off social media. Come to us, and we will make sure, again, we will make sure, senior marketing specialist will make sure that you guys are informed about what's actually happening with Medicare.
So I have a question as far as the industry goes.
Okay.
So are there more changes in an election year than a not election year? Or is that even, am I posing that the right way?
No, you're right. Like, do we see results?
Yeah, like, is there
I'll say this.
I don't know. Like, is Medicare impacted at all? Like, am I going to get more sales this year because it's an election year? Or am I going to get less?
Are we talking about for that? Oh,
like production. Okay. Like, are people going to be too scared that they're going to stay put?
Yes. Oh, that's a really great question.
I don't know.
I started in 2013, so I've only been through 2 presidential elections, right? Because it was 2012 to 2016 to 2020. So I've only been through 2 presidential elections doing this. That's a great question for Deft. I imagine, I can say this, as far as changes that happening.
And I guess I'm thinking like original Medicare to Medicare Advantage, like that type of change. Not just like changing plans, but like, you know, if somebody, every open enrollment.
Question for Deft.
I have tons of people who weigh that decision, you know, as their MedSup keeps going up. But we 100% saw that in 2020. I remember the conversations of a lot of people saying they were going to wait until after the election to see if they were going to enroll and see if they're going to change or switch plans. Like, I remember we had Deft on a show, and that was one of the metrics that they did. Because, I could see that happening. Like, especially with the Inflation Reduction Act. Like, well, I'm just going to stick with my supplement until I see what happens.
I honestly don't know the answer. I do remember that being a discussion point, though. So the research is out there. Someone has done that research. What I want to do is I want to go Def Research. Of course, they're an integrity partner. They are the leading organization as far as research in this buyer and consumer behavior in the Medicare space. I would love to see what data they put on it because I do remember the data. It was either 2019 or 2020 talking about what people were willing to do. It was also around the same time that OEP came back. And so I think they were doing like an election year with OEP.
Okay.
But let me do some research on that. That's a really great question that like I should know that for sure. Love that.
I also love this mug. I'm going to just take it one day.
The big hug mug? So back in the day, the reason why all of these mugs came from other agents. You can see that mug that's right there, the black one with the orange, the black and orange
Medicare Cafe
mug. That was something that Mike and I did back in 2016. We had hundreds of them made, and then like when we would do our national sales summit, we would do a mug exchange. So you bring us a mug. So we actually have like 3 more boxes of different mugs provided by agents. You bring us the mug, and you would get a Medicare Cafe mug. Every mug, I could tell you about every.
Maybe I'll bring you a mug to put up on the shelf.
I would love it. I can tell you about every person and where their mug came from. Yeah,
that's super fun.
Yeah,
I love that.
Maybe we can start that back up.
Yes.
The last point I have here when it comes to politicking and an election year is number one, just be Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
Do not talk about the left. Do not talk about the right. I love what you said 100% is I don't say what my opinions are. I don't say who I voted for.
I just say I try to stay out of it, especially with my clients. Like I lie. I say I try to stay middle ground.
I try to stay middle ground. You know,
because I've had somebody tell me, "Good, I don't think I could be here if I know that you voted for so and so."
Yeah.
Point blank, she said that.
Well, and so here's the thing.
And then she tried to give me all of these flyers that she had about gun control. I don't even remember what it was.
My God.
I didn't really know what she was for. The flyers were very confusing. It's like, are you for guns? Are you anti-guns? I don't know what this is saying.
You just have thoughts about guns.
Yes,
and that's
like, sure,
all I can tell you. But, like, so I have a lot of people like, well, my clients know who I am. Like, if they say, oh, I love Donald Trump, then I don't have a problem telling them how much I love Donald Trump. Or if they say, oh, I hate Donald Trump, I don't have a problem telling how much I hate Donald Trump, right? Mm-hmm. That's where, like, a lot of people go. However, that will affect your ability to be referable, right?
Yeah, and you don't know who's listening.
Exactly. It's like, sure. So I know.
I always have clients waiting in the waiting area.
Oh, exactly. So, like, I know, like, if I'm one-on-one with this client, no one else is listening, but they're telling me how much they love or hate this person. If I agree with them, they have a friend or a loved one that completely thinks the opposite of them, right? Yeah. Then they're going to say, ooh, you're not going to want to talk to Kari because she's pro or anti that, unlike you are. Like, Kari's my person. You're not going to like her. Like, you should go find someone else, right? So that's why, like, even if you agree with their point of view, even if you're on the same page as them, it's still not wise to, like, lean into that because it will affect your ability to be referable. Yeah. And exactly your point, you just don't know who's listening.
But I will say I think it is important to let them share their opinions because sometimes I feel like they have to. Like, I have this one client, love him to death. He is I may have talked about this. He is a huge conspiracy theorist guy.
I love those people.
He sat there. I could tell you everything about the flat earth conspiracy. Like,
oh, he's a flat earther.
Flat earther.
Oh, honey, yes.
Like,
let's hear it.
But you know what? I loved it. Like, I loved listening to him. I was like, man, this is so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, but by me, like, just like listening to him, he was just like, thank you. Like, thank you for being willing to just listen.
To just
he thanked me for it.
Hat on.
And I was like, yeah.
Well, and it's the rule of sales, right? The more that they talk, the more they'll like you.
Yes, for sure.
And if you live there and like listen to their conspiracy theories or listen for their love or hate of Biden or Trump, they'll feel like you're able to better advise them on the insurance coverages that you offer because you know them and you know what's important to them. So we didn't put that on there, but that's a point that 100% needs to be made. Yeah. Just let them go.
It's funny to me how I was just telling Glenn this, like, I don't know, doesn't seem like that long ago, of how political, like how often politics are talked about in our job.
Question for you.
In my meetings.
You write a lot of United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever have somebody on the med sup side that's like,
week.
That's like AARP?
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely not doing
that. They say nope.
And because of the AARP?
Absolutely. Happens all the time.
Do they hold that against you or how? Because this is a conversation that I've had since I started the business. No, they don't hold it against me. How do you navigate that? What do you say to be like, that's okay? Like, or do you like, oh, I'm not even going to bring this up to them?
No, I mean, when I'm going down the list, I say the pros and cons of each one. When I get to United Healthcare, I say one thing with United Healthcare, they're a great insurance carrier, but they do require an AARP membership. Sure. Some people support AARP, some people don't. If you don't, then if you don't, then we can pick another carrier. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like I just kind of glaze over it.
So it's super factual. Yeah. And glaze over it. Okay. That was when, like, back in the day whenever I was recruiting for United Healthcare, there was just, like, I mean, like, I got very, like, people, like, they took it personally that I was, like, United Healthcare is a great Medicare supplement. And that became my problem, that I recommended it.
Oh, no. I mean, I've never had it be an issue.
Interesting. I'd love to hear from anybody else.
But I've had some people who were like, well, I don't support AARP, but I like the gym membership, and I like that they're like $10 cheaper. So I'll pay $12 for 1 year and then cancel my membership because you just have to have it for the 1 year.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. I thought you had to be an AARP membership as long as you have the policy.
No, even if you were one in the past, like it counts. You don't even have to have it active.
I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Neat. Well, long story short, stay Switzerland, especially on your social media, especially on your business page. Never share religion, never share politics, never share drama on your Facebook pages. So please, again, don't hurt your referability. Don't even get into it. I don't even care if it's the most noble cause in the world. It's not worth it. Save that for your personal, your friends, your family.
I had a funny story. So we have a whole marketing team who I do my own social media posts, but they also do for every agent at SBS, they post Merry Christmas, or they'll post the holiday stuff. It's Labor Day. What is it? Is there a Day of the Dead?
I mean, there's I think it's a Hispanic tradition, Day of the Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
They posted something about that, and it was just kind of a picture of a skeletons, or, you can imagine it. And I had a client who was commented on there that was this does not support, I do not support this holiday, with my religion and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think that would be.
Oh my gosh, somebody's always going to be upset about that.
Yeah.
You posted about Arbor Day, and people are going to be like, boo trees.
Yeah. Boo. Yeah.
I mean, that is true.
So yeah, you never know what's gonna be
what's gonna trip someone's trigger.
Yes, yeah.
So interesting. Guys, that's what we have for today. That is what we wanted to talk about. Again, knowing that it's an election year, it's really important to kind of understand what to expect and then how to navigate some of those situations. Biggest thing is just stay Switzerland. Yep. I think you hit the nail on the head. Let them have their moment. Let them talk about their tinfoil hats. Let them talk about what their beliefs are. But try not to lean too much into it, and making sure that you stay pleasant, stay Switzerland, and keep all of that stuff off your social media.
Have your answer ready, prepared. I need to have one because I wasn't thinking about this. But yeah, as the election gets closer, people are going to for sure ask.
I think...
And I need to have, one that just rattles off my tongue.
Mike Atorna had one on the last election that I was like, oh, that was really good. Knowing Mike, the least PC person.
Yeah.
But his was regardless of what side wins, both of them have an uphill battle when it comes to Medicare. So I hope we're able to pick the best one for the job.
Yeah.
That was kind of how it is. Regardless, regardless, both of them are going to have an uphill battle. So,
yeah. It's vague. It does it.
And it's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's not incorrect.
Right.
So.
Right.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, let us know. This is my direct line, so you can text it at any time. Even if you're watching the recorded version of this, you can text me, and I will respond.
I feel like there was something that happened last week that I was like, I should talk about that on the cafe.
This was my son. We went to an aquarium, so that was him looking at some stingrays.
My picture of my kids this morning, good old dad was they wanted to play with shaving cream.
Oh.
And, they're dressed for school. And he was like, sure, squirts them in their hand, and then is like, see you later. Bye. I don't think he really realized what he was doing.
And I'm sure it's very
because he was just
smelling.
on the way. Oh, they smelled amazing. They smelled amazing. But it was all over them. And I sent him a picture. I was like, thanks for the shaving cream. And peacing out.
Kate Havat said Chad. Chad may have this too. I don't know. But it's a dye-free, scent-free, just shaving, foam.
Okay.
That, you can put in, they can build stuff in the bathtubs in it. That's right now Kate's favorite thing. But he puts it on his face and pretends to shave.
Oh, yeah.
But it's in the bathtub where you would expect.
Maylee had it on her eyes.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, this was her this morning.
Oh, no. She's having a great time, though. And that's what's important.
She wasn't dressed yet. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Kids.
Well, any other questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, let us know. We will do our best to keep you guys up to date with what's going on in the political climate that we are in / will be entering, coming in, especially this third and fourth quarter. But if you guys have any questions or have any recommendations of what we should talk about next time, let us know. I actually won't be here next week. I'm going to be sitting on I will be sitting on a board or a council for Mutual of Omaha. There are Medicare supplements and other ancillary products and PDP. So if you guys have any feedback, just let me know. I'm more than happy to pass that along to them and help them come up with their game plan for 2024 and beyond.
I like them.
I like them. I like them. They're like my fans.
They're my number 2 probably.
Really? Mm-hmm. Got it. Who's your number 1?
UHC.
Yeah. I mean, it is 33% of the market.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. All right. So until next time, guys, have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service. Thanks.